Why temp workers outperform full-time staff in crises. Redefining what it means to perform under pressure and who does it best.
When upheaval strikes, organizations demand agility, yet their most established employees often struggle most to deliver it. Career shock. Full-time staff face identity disruption and reduced adaptability during sudden disruptions, Ackermans et al. 2020. Hidden strength. Temporary workers, despite precarious conditions, often carry unique psychological advantages precisely because of instability. A defining condition of modern temporary work, and a surprisingly powerful forge for resilience. Unstable by design. Short-term roles lacking consistent protections, income security, or career guarantees. Structural inequity. Characterized by uncertainty, alienation, and systemic disadvantage. The silver lining. While widely seen as a liability, precarity can cultivate specific adaptive traits unavailable to those with job security. Psychological resilience, built through necessity, sharpened in action. Why proactivity emerges. Job insecurity is an uncomfortable teacher, but an effective one. Without the safety net of permanent employment, gig workers develop a forward-looking orientation toward their own careers, constantly anticipating change rather than reacting to it, less susceptible to career shocks that blindside permanent staff, primed to pivot quickly when circumstances demand it. Research insight. Ackermans et al. 2020 found that this proactive stance directly translates to a greater capacity to adapt to unexpected demands, giving gig workers a measurable crisis advantage over their full-time counterparts. Job crafting is the practice of actively reshaping one's role, adjusting tasks, relationships, and scope to better match skills and situational demands. Temp workers lead the way. They craft their roles more naturally, having always navigated unfamiliar environments without a fixed playbook. Psychological safety amplifies it. When safety is present, crafting behaviors intensify, enabling rapid, meaningful role adjustment during crises. Plump et al. 2019. The defining difference in crisis response isn't experience, it's the ability to bend without breaking. Inertia in the face of change, and the identity trap that causes it. The upside. A strong expert identity can boost adaptive performance by deepening work engagement and confidence, especially for flexibly recruited professionals. Han and Kui, 2025. The downside. That same identity can produce role stress and inflexibility, making it harder to adapt when the crisis demands a fundamentally different response. The full-time risk. Permanent staff tend to be more deeply entrenched in their expert identity, raising the psychological cost of adaptation during unexpected disruptions. Permanent employees. Psychological safety enhances job crafting, giving permanent staff the confidence to reshape their roles and experiment with new approaches when supported. Agency/temp workers. For temporary workers, psychological safety can be negatively associated with crafting hindrances, meaning they craft effectively even under conditions of uncertainty. Plump et al. 2019. The same organizational resource, psychological safety, produces fundamentally different outcomes depending on employment type. Context matters. Crisis performance is never a single variable. It emerges from the dynamic tension between psychological capital, identity pressures, safety signals, and structural conditions, all at once. Leveraging temp worker adaptability. Not as a stopgap, but as a deliberate organizational capability. Shift the perception. Temporary staff are not a stopgap. They are a reservoir of agile, battle-tested talent uniquely suited for high-pressure moments. Provide support structures. Even short-term support, clear roles, psychological capital investment, and brief onboarding dramatically amplifies temp worker contributions during crises. Integrate strategically.
Deploy temp workers not just for capacity, but for their adaptive edge, embedding them in teams where flexibility and speed matter most. The rise of the gig economy signals more than an economic trend. It reveals a fundamental reevaluation of what makes people effective at work. Adaptability is the new expertise. Psychological flexibility, honed through precarious experience, outperforms static knowledge when conditions change fast. Resilient teams are by design. Organizations that embrace this reality and build for it intentionally will be the ones that thrive when the next crisis arrives.